the Daily Ramble podcast.
Good morning, West Ham fans. I hope you're all well. Day 5, I've completed a week. I think this is the first time in it. I've completed a full week. I've given you all a lay-in for the last few days, so I've moved it to 6:35 because I'm a giving kind of guy. Do you know what I mean? As always, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, drop a like on the video. Please drop a like on the video. Go shift. Say it every morning. Does really help. Tells YouTube to share it around. Well, today we've got a lot to be talking about. That bar down the bottom, by the way, it's an RSS feed. I will change it. I'm going to be honest. The only one I could get working was from Claret and Hugh. So those headlines you're seeing are from Claret and Hugh. If you want to read more about them, go and check the gumph that he's posting about at the moment. But yeah, I've got my own agenda. So it's not relative to that bar, first and foremost. All right. I can either do that one or I can do TalkSport headlines, but I've had enough of TalkSport. Almost as much as I've had enough of Claret and Hugh. Let's go through the chat anyway. We are going to talk about England today. Not for long, but I've just woken up. It is the morning. If I'd have done this last night, you would have been getting a Moyes rant. I was fuming. We'll see how it goes. I weren't happy. But then we're going to talk about what the thumbnail kind of has pointed you towards, which is, our West Ham skin, all the links to our star players, what is going on. We're going to talk about that as well. Okay, so let's run through the chat. We've got Tony. Good morning, mates. We've got Chris Small. Buenos dias. David Riley. Stuart Surrey. Good morning, mate. Green Badge. Stevie Belt. Mickey Smith. I hope you've ordered your juicer, mate. Seriously. No blenders. Got to be a juicer. Bodger. Wayne Walters. Ash Nugent. Carlo. Adrian Whitfield. Right, what you said here. Might listen to TalkSport this morning to listen to their hypocrisy. Yeah, I know. It's brilliant, isn't it? I'm going to touch on that as well. Iggy Goes Pop. Mark Pendleton. Andy T, Mr. Steady Hands, John Williams, Leslie Bardham, Louis. Shout out to Louis, still doing his catch to 5k. He was up this morning, sent me a voice note this morning at 5. He was out of breath, so he'd either been doing something else or he'd been for a run. But well done, mate. I know you're working hard on that. Al Dente, Paul Beasley, the lovely Nicola, Ian Leach. Ben Howe, Fat Bloke, I'm one of them. Cookie Hammer, thank you very much. Graham Turner, Neil Patterson, Banana Cat. Right, that's enough. There's loads of you. Thank you for joining me. Right, what's the matter? Sorry, Mrs. is taking the piss out of me. Right, so England. The first game against Serbia was dull. It was horrible. It was rubbish. We kind of put that down to, I didn't put it down to anything. It's pretty much the same as what we always see under Gareth Southgate. But a lot of the pundits and everyone else was saying it's the first game. It's the first game. You can't get too carried away. We'll get going. So we faced Denmark. Now, Denmark, I know they got into a semi-final in the last competition, but look, this is not one of even the top 10 teams in Europe, I don't think. They're not. Christian Eriksen is probably still their star player. And look, they're a good team. That's the word, team. They are a team. As you see with a lot of these other countries that are in this competition, they're teams. They've got managers that have kind of galvanised them. They know what their best starting 11 is. How can Southgate not know what his best 11 is? He's been manager now forever. This is his third competition. The bulk of those players that played, he's been using for ages. We're clueless. We're absolutely clueless. And Jude Bellingham, we know that he didn't have much time with David Moyes because he looked like a superstar, didn't he, against Serbia? He was a reason why we did scrape through that first game, because we did scrape through. We ain't really scored a clean goal yet. We've scored 2 goals from deflected crosses. That's all we've created. We ain't crafted anything else. How can that be possible? How can it be possible to be so bad? How can it be possible to be so bad when you've got those players? Now, David Moyes aside, there is only one other man that could make Jude Bellingham looked like Thomas Souček. That's what he resembled. He resembled Souček. Not in the first game, because he joined the squad late. He joined the group late, didn't he? Because he was doing stuff with Real Madrid, so he'd only been there for a few days. So Southgate hadn't been able to sort of work with him and knock the football out of him. Because people look at these managers, not so much Moyes because he's miserable, but Southgate, and they go, oh, you can't have a go at him because he's so placid. No. These people are anti-football. He's the England manager. He's got the nation that want to watch this team perform, and that man is a ball and chain. He's a ball and chain around those players' ankles. He's awful. Absolutely awful. Phil Foden looked like the worst version of Ben Rama. He's turned Declan Rice into Calvin Phillips. That's the worst I've ever seen him play. None of them knew what they was doing. Harry Kane, I can't really, even though I'm not a Harry Kane fan, I can't really have a go at Harry Kane, even though everything that the pundits were saying was true. He's not pressing from the front, this, that, the other. But you can't press as one person. You have to press as a team. We ain't doing that. We're just not. We're just static. We made it so easy for Denmark. Eriksson came out in a post-match interview, said, no, England didn't give us any surprises. We knew what they was going to do. It is honestly so... The parallels between Southgate and Moyes as well, and the way that the majority of those pundits, those disingenuous, the ones who have been saying, be careful what you wish for, West Ham fans, what you moaning for, what you moaning for. This geezer's doing exactly the same thing. That was an exact... Like I said, it's like I'm living in a parallel universe. It's like he's been reborn. You know, we've just got rid of him, and then you've got this guy doing the same thing as what David Moyes was doing with our team. They strangle you. They strangle the fan. You know, they strangle the player on the pitch. They can't perform. I don't even want to sort of pick it apart. It was awful. Awful. Who else could do that to these players? They were shocking. They were absolutely shocking, and I can't see us progressing anywhere. We'll get out the group. We will. I'm sure we will. Not that it really matters, because what's the difference whether you get to a quarter-final, semi-final, what? When you're playing football like that, they ain't making nobody proud. They're not making themselves proud. That bloke, I just want him gone. You know, the next World Cup, that's what is that, the 60-year anniversary since 66. We'll have a new manager. I am sick to death of these managers. They should be banned from football. I'm not exaggerating. They should be banned from fucking football. The beautiful game. These blokes just set out to destroy it. That is all that they do. That's all they do. He could go on. No, I don't think he will. I think this is the most disjointed, clueless-looking England team that I've seen for a long time, and they are littered with stars. Littered with stars. People can say, oh, well, he was brave. He made a few changes. What? It's a surprise that Trent Alexander-Arnold, a bloke who was put in midfield, who ain't a midfielder, he was put in midfield because he's got that ability to hit a long diagonal, the long ball. Southgate said the same. Well, what do you want Trent to do, Southgate, if you ain't giving him runners? At Liverpool, he's got Salah. He's got players like that he can hit with those balls. You don't play that way. Who do you want him to hit, mate? Oh, honestly, it is sickening. I'm sick to death of these fucking managers and these pundits that were tearing into Southgate. This is exactly what we were witnessing week in, week out. A manager constraining our team, stopping our team from playing football, because that is what they do. You hear people coming out saying, well, once they cross the white line, it's down to the player. Well, it ain't, is it? Look at Palace under Roy Hodgson versus under their new sexy German who's managing them now. That is a change that one man can make. The manager's quite important. That's why they get paid a lot of money. Margins are very, very fine at the elite level, and the manager is there to make a difference. They set the team up tactically, they prepare them, and he's on. How is he still England manager? And the geezer's selfish. I can't stand him. I don't care how passive-aggressive he is. Well, no, he ain't even passive-aggressive. He's fucking limp. Southgate screams flaccid. He does. You look at him. I can't stand him. Honestly, I really, really can't. I could never hate him as much as I hated David Moyes, because David Moyes was Southgate, but with arrogance. So he was like the worst of all worlds. And people are saying Southgate's worse than Moyes. No, he ain't worse. He ain't worse. The football's the same. Their philosophy on football is to kill football. That's it. Stop it. Go out there, score 1-0, shut up shop. Fucking what's in your head? Did you watch Spain last night? I mean, Italy got absolutely battered. It should have been a cricket score. But it wasn't really because Italy were sitting back and playing for a point or anything. That they were just completely outplayed by a team, with a 16-year-old on the right wing, Williams on the left. They were unbelievable. They were. It's for me, it's going to be out of Germany or Spain that go on and win this. That could be the final, by the way. It could be. But you look at the way that Spain are going. In fact, how many teams have you seen sit back and defending this? A majority of teams out there, they're going for the games. They're going for it. Fuck, it just makes me want to cry. It does. It makes me want to cry. But look, that's enough on England anyway. You don't deserve anything. Do you know what? If we get through the group stages, I'm bringing back player ratings. I'm going to start doing donkeys. I've got to put a donkey on Southgate. Teabag in, Southgate out. That's what I say. Anyway, piss off, England. Okay. Are West Ham skint? Moving swiftly on. Are West Ham skint? I don't know, is the honest answer. We shouldn't be skint. I mean, when they say skint, it can only be cash flow. It can only be cash flow because as a club, there's money there. I know that a lot of the money is put aside because the way that West Ham structure deals is they buy now, pay later. So we're probably still paying for players that we bought 15 years ago because of the way that Sullivan does it. So maybe on paper we've had this turnover, but you've got all these loans that are outstanding that have gone out. I don't know. I can't work it out. But Whetstone and X are taking the same narrative, and I can't think who else it was. Another big name. Was it Steinberg? Yeah, it might have been Steinberg. Have all come out over the past week and said that West Ham haven't got any money. I'm starting to get very, very concerned. I've been ignoring the fact that Bowen's been linked away. I've been ignoring the fact that Kudus is being tipped to move. I've been ignoring the fact that it's coming out now that apparently Emerson is going. I've been ignoring the fact that Paqueta will either be going to Man City or he'll be going to fucking Pentonville. I've been ignoring the fact that Alvarez has been unhappy for so long because we kept Moyes here for so long. That is someone who I've got a connection with outside of, I know the intermediary. He's been unhappy for a long time. He's a player that's become disenfranchised. Because of what David Moyes has done, that player, he would move. He would move. This is what that club have done. This is what happens when you leave people in post for too long when they shouldn't be there. You cause damage. So those 5 players, like we say, Alvarez, it's not unbelievable. Ten Hag, his old manager, is there. Are they in the Champions League? Well, they're in Europe. Now, look, there's no way we're going to sell all these players, but now I'm starting to get worried because why have we been linked with 1 million wingers? Why? Why have we been linked with so many right wingers if Bowen and Kudus are staying? Why are these stories coming out? Now, I know a lot of people are saying it's the media trying to kind of unsettle West Ham, but it's not just the media. It's our own media. If Sean Whetstone and X are coming out and saying that, that's what Sullivan's telling them to say. So why are we going out there looking for all these players? How could we even consider selling these players? Especially when you look at the volcano that's about to erupt around ticket pricing. They're taking ticket prices up twice of what fucking inflation is. Twice of what inflation is. They're removing concessions and they're going to go and sell our star players. Well, I fucking hope not. I hope not. I haven't got any of this on inside information. I'm not reporting anything. I'm reporting what's out there at the moment. That's what I'm doing, and I'm reacting to it. And I fucking hope we don't sell those players because Kudus ain't got a release clause until next year. We ain't got to let him go. Alvarez the same. Bowen, he's contracted until fucking 2050. Whatchamacallit? Emerson, we haven't got to let him go. He ain't got a release clause. We haven't got to let these players go. We haven't got to. We're out of Europe. The challenge this year should be getting back in. You can't even Tim, even the great pearl diver. Because I've got a bit of news for you people. The person who I was talking about on Monday, who who the club are now cutting out of negotiations and deals. Basically, a big insider, a scout. This is a man that brought Kudus and Alvarez to West Ham. Tim facilitated the deal. We got it over the line. He negotiated it. He didn't spot Kudus. We ain't going to get a Kudus every window. I'm worried about this. I don't mind selling one star if it's one. If they sell one of them, even that I don't like. But we're not going to be able to every single time go out and replace these players. At some point, we're just going to get substantially worse. Those 5 players that are linked with leaving are the 5 players we should be building our whole team around. They should be going nowhere. I don't care if they want to leave. We've changed the manager. Lopetegui's job should be to go in there, and it should be to it should be to pick them up and say, look, this is a new start. What about Tim's project? Because if they leave, then that to me says, Tim, I don't believe in your fucking projects, mate. I'm off. See you later. They've only been here a year. And Moyes was in place when he came in. So, look, sorry for the rant. I'm feeling quite passionate. That was Southgate that got me going. But no, I don't know whether there's any truth in it. I hope and pray that there is no truth in it. But it will go off. I mean, there's going to be protests anyway, and so there should be. With the West Ham fan movement, and not just West Ham, it's everyone else, because of what they're doing to the common West Ham fan, because they're pricing the next generation out and they're completely discarding the older generation. There will be a process. It is going to happen. But if they go out of their way and then on top of that they think they're going to get away with selling our best players, mate, seriously, it would be the ultimate piss take. The ultimate piss take. We need to keep those 5 players. If you're going to sell anyone, sell Souček, sell Zuma, sell Aguirre, sell James Ward-Prowse. Fucking sell them. Keep our best players. Oh, very unusual morning show. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit sensitive about that subject. I didn't want to talk about it. I've been reading it for a week, 2 weeks now. I've been trying to ignore it, but it ain't going away. It's really pissing me off, and I don't know whether I'm just being ignorant about all of this because more and more people are starting to talk about it now, and I don't know whether there is something in it. Why are we linked with so many right wingers? That's Kudus and Bowen's best position, or it has been for West Ham. Why are we linked with so many? We've bought one already, and we're linked with more. I did that thing where I put the formation up and I said we're going to play 8 wingers. No, we're not. We're not going to play 8 wingers, are we? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just fuming. Yes, Rice would have got a donkey last night. He was shit, but he weren't on his own. That's the worst I've ever seen Rice play. I've never seen Rice play that bad before. It was awful. But Amanda's saying Loppe wouldn't have signed. No. Well, Loppe wouldn't have signed. Listen, he left Wolves because they lied to him. So, I mean, imagine that. Could you imagine? David Moyes is still sitting there, by the way. He is. Imagine that. Just before the season. We sell a few stars. Loppe goes, bollocks, I'm doing what I did to Wolves. David Moyes, little phone call. Oh, no, I'm not going to go there. I think I'd take up knitting. I'd give up football. I would. I wouldn't be able to put up with it. I wouldn't. The only headline I'm going to touch on for this, because this sickens me as well. I know people say, it's there at the bottom there now, Villa make approach for Hammer's Academy star. That's Alford, everyone. We've all been hearing about Alford for the last, 2 years. He's probably our biggest talent in the academy. He's hotly tipped to be an England player. He's he's another one. His ceiling's up here. Why on earth are we considering letting him go? Now, I know it's financial. I know he's only got a year left on his contract, and West Ham are lowballing him again. So he's going out there and he's looking, because this is a guy that has got suitors. Like I said, Aston Villa are after him. So why would we let Lewis Alford go? What's the point in going out and fucking buying Guilherme for 30 million if you're going to let Lewis Alford go for nothing? What's the point? Oh, I'm feeling quite angry this morning. But no, I am getting a little bit fed up with this talk of these players that are going to leave. Now, look, I understand that every window, your very best players are going to get linked away. That's going to happen. It always happens. But the likes of Kudus, Bowen, Alvarez, Emerson, Paqueta, we can't even consider letting these players go. They have got to be... Everyone else is expendable. You can't let them go, though. They're not. They're not expendable. You can't let them go. The only one who I would half accept letting go is probably Paqueta. Because of the situation, because he's Man City are after him, fine. I could half tolerate it. I could half swallow it. But, yeah, like I said, it won't be... I don't think Paqueta will be here long term anyway. He would either be going to Man City or, as I said, he'll be going to Pentonville. But no, I'm very frustrated. You know, watching England for the last 2 games has brought back bad memories for me. It's put me in a bad place. Just the style of football, it suffocates me. I can't cope. I do need a coffee. 1 minute. Hang on. Right. I'm going to need Sam to sort me out. I'm going to go on to talk to you about something else after this as well. I've got to stop talking about football because I'm going to piss myself off. So I'm going to go over to Sam just to give me a couple of minutes to drink me coffee. Right, here we go. The masturbator.
How you doing, everyone? It's me again. Don't worry, the month's almost over and you won't have to hear these stupid questions anymore. As you can see, I'm in my shed trying to make Gary jealous. But you're well jealous, Gary, well jealous. It's not a Wendy house, I promise. Promise, it's a Sam house. But yeah, I've got a question. Right, so when you're having a fry up, you've got bread and butter. How do you use it? Because I thought everyone does the same. Everyone where I live, it's quite common. You leave your bread and butter to the end and then mop up all the juice after. Fantastic. But after speaking to a couple of people, they don't do it. They use the bread and butter and get a sandwich with their fry up. So it's a bit of egg, bit of bacon, whatever you like in the bread and butter. You got your sandwich and your fry up. It makes sense to me. No problem with that. But me, like I said, I use the bread to mop up all the juices afterwards. So how do you use your bread and butter with a fry up? Are you a sandwich maker or a mopper? And a quick one on that, I forgot to say it the other day. Speaking to Ben Howe on the community, and he asked me to ask this. When you have any sort of soup, and you've got your bread and butter again, Ben wants to know if he's the only one who does this. Do you butter both sides of the bread? Never heard of it before, but apparently he does it. So anyone else out there who does that, have a good day.
Right, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you very much. And you know what? Big up Sam as well. He's been coming up with these questions. He's because he's got Sam's good at these, but he's trying to keep them clean. So because obviously they're going out at 6:30 in the morning, even though today's one I ain't stopped effing and jeffing. He's trying to keep them clean, but he's done a brilliant job. He really has. So he's going to help me go through to the end of this month with these questions. But the elephant in the room, Ben Howe, butters both sides of the bread. Where were you born, bruv? Seriously? What is that? Who butters both sides of the bread? Why? Why would you do that? That's mental. No, I don't butter both sides of the bread. I've evolved over the years with the English breakfast. I have. I've got, I've changed. It used to be used for mopping. So you'd finish your breakfast, you'd leave your bread in place, you'd mop up afterwards. But then I started getting creative. Then I started making a sandwich. Sort of started a breakfast, bit of bacon, bit of sausage, bit of egg. Bosh. You got a sandwich, you got a breakfast. But then, as of the last probably 2 years, I go even further than that. I put the key components of a sandwich to one side. So one rasher of bacon, one sausage, one bit of egg, and I leave them and I put them over to one side. And then what I do is I finish the rest of my breakfast. I'll make me sandwich, and then I'll use me sandwich to mop up the juice as well. That is amazing. If you ain't tried that, that is class, and it is messy. It is messy, but it's worth it. Not as messy as buttering both sides of your bread, though. I mean, what is that? Honestly, that is fucking weird. You know, he must come out. You know, he must come out of the calf just covered in butter. Imagine you get an itchy nose or say you can't not get butter on your hands, Ben. That's weird. Absolutely weird. What are you all saying anyway? Just very, very quickly before we go into something a lot more serious. All right. So Miggy says sandwich and mop up. Yep. Toast is a pincher to pick up whatever it can pick up. Mop up. Sandwich, egg only. Yeah, I'll go for that, but I do. No, I don't agree with that. If you're going to make a sandwich, not a blandwich. Soup gets overly buttered, right? Double butter changes your life. Yeah, no, thanks, mate. Double butter. I'll stick my fried bread between the bread for heart and sex. I ain't done that one. That sounds good. I'm going to give that a go. I ain't had a fried slice for ages. I love fried bread. Right, okay. Now, look. This is going to take a bit of a different turn now. I've got to try and compose myself. Yesterday on the group, as you all know, we run a support group. Somebody reached out yesterday. I'm not going to name any names. Somebody reached out for support, and this is what this platform is there for, right? It's free support, you know. So literally got the guy in, started talking to him, but then the worst thing happens. Now we know that he was undergoing a bit of a situation with cancer, so he was waiting for some results. But he's literally reached out to us, and he's joined the group, and we've got him in there, and we're chatting to him, and then an hour later he gets a phone call with the worst possible news. So he'd only been in there an hour, and then he gets the worst possible news to say that he ain't got long left. It was a fucking harrowing afternoon. It was taking football completely out of the equation. It was harrowing. It was horrible. Such a nice guy, such a lovely guy. But, you know, I do believe in fate. And if he'd have reached out to me an hour later, he would never have even been in the support group, because once you get that news that they gave him, which is a couple of months left, you wouldn't bother at that point. You'd go fuck it. You'd go, oh, what's the point? What is the point? And he did. He reached out, and then he got the news, and he's in there, and we've got him, and we're talking to him. Now, I'm not saying that we can perform any miracles. You know, sometimes you can't. Sometimes when your time's up, your time is up. You know, I get that. But the fact of the matter is, with Jay, Jay's got so many case studies of people that are still here now, people that have kind of spoken to us, that speak to him now on podcasts, that he's helped in the past, that have been given the same fucking message from the hospital. They've been given the same message. That's it. It's done. And there's things that you can do. And I ain't talking about witchcraft. I ain't talking about fucking herbal medicines. I ain't talking about, you know, smoking a spliff to make your cancer go away. No, I'm not. I'm not talking about that sort of thing. I'm talking about natural stuff that you can do yourself. It isn't to replace what happens in the hospital. It's to go alongside that. And it's stuff that you can do, taking control back. It's something that I wish... I've often said, when I've sat there watching these, I'm going to probably get upset talking about this. I've always said... I lost both. I lost my mum and my dad to cancer. And I always said, I wish I'd known Jay back then. That's what I wish, because of the stuff. We are thick as shit when it comes to cancer. Let me just compose myself for a minute. Hang on. Oh. When it comes to cancer, we are thick as shit. All of us are. Because we're scared of it. We're terrified of it. We're uneducated. The minute someone says a word, you go, ooh, you stick your fingers in your ears and you close your eyes. That is what happens. So when you get in this situation, we are so uneducated. And all we've got is one opinion. All we've got are what those doctors are telling us. And I can tell you now from first-hand experience, the NHS fucked me twice. They did. They got it wrong time and time and time again. They're just people. They are not God. They're not. And I'm not having a go at the NHS and everything else, but that system, they're overworked, they're overrun. People are getting misdiagnosed all the fucking time. We've actually got an example in this group. One of the guys that I was talking about yesterday that got the all clear, the great news that we got, he'd been diagnosed with cancer twice. But he went out and he carried on, done some work himself, went out and got a third opinion. Turns out it weren't fucking cancer. They'd have been operating on him. You've got to educate yourselves. I know it's an uncomfortable subject. I know it's something that nobody wants to talk about, that nobody wants to think about. Nobody does, because we're all terrified of it. We've all been affected by it. It's something that probably is going to affect us all in our lifetime. We don't want to know, you know, why face it until you have to? It's something that should be this what the knowledge that Jay can impart, because it isn't all it is. Jay shares information. He opens your eyes. That is it. You don't only have one option. It isn't necessarily over when the doctor tells you it's over. It isn't every time. It isn't. People just need to educate themselves. And to that beautiful man that has joined the group yesterday, I'm so glad that you have. And I just hope and I pray that we can help you. Well, we will definitely be able to help you, whether it's, you know, physically with fighting this cancer. But at the very best, having somebody like Jay in your life, he's a cancer coach, getting your head right and getting your head in a space where it needs to be. If it is a situation where you've only got a few months left, you can have nobody better in your life, believe me. Nobody better. So look, I'm going to leave you with this now. Now, this is a long video because Jay recorded this. Jay gets emotionally attached. He does. He tries not to because it saps his energy. But yesterday, with this in particular, it really affected him. And he recorded this video for me. It was only going to be 3 minutes. He's going on for 16 minutes. And this is Jay talking about his angle on cancer. So I know this is a very morbid way to end the show, and I am sorry. But do you know something? After that experience yesterday, I've been standing there with my finger in my ears. Don't want to sort of talk about it. I'm terrified of cancer. But you know something? I owe it to everyone. Everyone needs that information. It's a fucking gift. It's a gift. So if you're suffering or you know someone who's suffering, you know, reach out because it's there. Okay? I know I'm going to leave you with it anyway. I need to go. I love you all. Enjoy Friday. If you can pick yourself up after this. I am sorry. This is an awful way to sort of start your day, but we're trying to do something positive here. All right. I love you all. I'll speak to you all soon. Come on, you irons.
Hello, you beautiful individual. Yes, I'm definitely talking to you. I want to start this message by sending you all loads of love, good health, and kindness. So it's a little bit different today. It's not the West Ham background. I'm not going to say anything about the Come On You Irons or Gal's Thumbs, because this is a really heartfelt, serious message, and it's information I just want to share, because I've been working as a cancer coach now for a long time, for many years, and I've worked with many people that are basically coming to the end of their experience in this physical world. Whatever happens after, like I said, I don't know. What I do know, though, is we get one shot at life, stating the obvious. And when it comes to cancer, what cancer does for people in an instant, it really puts a lot of things into perspective. And over the last 2 days, there's been some wonderful people. One person I spoke to today, being not the morning that you're watching this, the night before, because I'm calling this what time in Spain? 10 past 11 in the evening on Thursday night, after speaking to a wonderful, wonderful human being today, who's basically been told he's not got much time left. And when you speak to people in that position, the novelty is never worn off for me. The importance of really listening to what these people have to say, because what happens is when you're forced into a position where you have to face your mortality, which let's face it, none of us like talking about or thinking about our mortality. However, it is an inevitable. It's an inevitability that is an equalizer in life. There's not many things that genuinely do equalize the human experience. Being born and dying is definitely two things that traverses any divisions or divisions of color, creed, race, religion, any of that nonsense, and just puts us all on a level playing field. And what I've learned, being very lucky to work with many people in that position, is it's worth really listening to what these people have to say, because of course what you can't help do, I had to sneeze there, what you can't help to do when you talk to people in this position is put yourself in their position, and you start thinking, well, if I was told I only had a couple months to live, how would I feel? What would I do? But what I want to share today is really important, and it's around the information that you're given when it comes to cancer. Now, disclaimer, I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do. So there, I've covered that. I am definitely not attacking anyone, any oncologists, any doctors that are involved in the cancer field in the UK or anywhere else. Excuse me, that's not the point of this. It's nothing to do with that. So again, there's my disclaimer. I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do, and I'm not attacking any doctors or any treatments, right? What I'm saying is this, and it is really important because I tell you from my soul, on my child's soul, to give it credence, that I've witnessed people that have done what I'm about to share and have saved their own lives, okay, on more than one occasion. Even if it was one occasion, that would be enough for me to know, bloody hell, there's something in that. However, it's been more than one occasion. And that is to not just take one narrative. Because when it comes to cancer, and I will mention, so obviously being from the UK, most of the experience I've had with people with cancer has been through the NHS. Another disclaimer, this is nothing against the NHS. Okay, so I've covered myself. It's not against the NHS. People that choose to help other people suffering for a living, you've got my heartiest, fullest respect. All right, so covered. However, there's one narrative around cancer through the NHS, one. So when you're in people's, like this lovely gentleman's position, and you only get told one narrative, it doesn't give you a choice, because you completely, in many cases, and again, I've been very careful with my choice of words because I know how sensitive this is. I've done it for years. I know how sensitive a subject this is. I know it triggers people. Okay, we become very submissive with our health. In fact, from when we was really small, we was taught to get on the doctor's knee, and the doctor will tell us what it is that's going on. We get a lollipop or a sticker, we walk out, and that's basically our education around our health when it comes to doctors. They tell us what's wrong, we take that on board as gospel, and then we follow suit. However, it's not always the right information. Now, when it comes to cancer, unfortunately, and again, this isn't a judgment, cancer is very mis and over diagnosed, obviously not on purpose. However, that is a fact. Look into it. Many times people have been diagnosed with forms of cancer, and it turns out it wasn't either that type of cancer or it wasn't cancer. That happened. Again, even if that happened once, that would shake you up. If you was that person, how would you feel? Now, that happens, unfortunately, many, 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 many times. I've worked with kids that have been completely misdiagnosed and given the wrong information. Again, before your egos go off, I'm not saying it was done on purpose. That's fucking irrelevant. The point is this, is you and your health are worth more than all the money in the world. And that worth should be to you first and foremost. You should value yourself. That, like I said, you get one shot at being you. Something that nobody else ever has had, that gift. Because that's right, you're a gift. I don't care what you think. You're a fucking gift. You're a one-off. Never been another one of you before. Not another one of you now. Never be another one of you again. That's what I've been taught by these people that have passed on. That's the message that they've left me. Jay, fucking appreciate being yourself, because it is a one-off. You get one shot at life. What happens after? Like I said, I've got no comment on. I don't know. What I do know is valuing myself, you valuing yourself in this life, surely has got to be at top of your agenda, and your health. That is got to be something you educate yourself around, and you take time to educate yourself if you've been given that diagnosis of cancer on what cancer actually is, how it actually affects the body, how the treatments on offer, what they actually do, not just what you've been told, but actually going in without fingers crossed and hoping, going in with that, well, I understand that. I know why you're recommending that treatment. In fact, if you're part of the support network, and if you're not part of the support network, and you're either facing cancer or you know someone with cancer, that £5 investment that you pay to Claret and Booze to join the whole platform, the support network's free. There's, for the £5 subscription model, you get a whole host of information as well around fitness, around diet, around fasting, around cancer, okay? Including podcasts from people that have survived cancer, 13 years survivors. I recently done one with a lady called Talaya. Watch what she says. So don't take my word for it. Listen to someone who's been there, done it, gone through it. Listen to what she says she had to do for herself in a situation where, as I spoke to this gentleman about this evening, where she felt her choice was being taken away from her. Because as a human being, the one thing that makes you you is your choice, your free will. As soon as you feel like that has been removed, then that's it. Now, unfortunately, when someone points a finger at you and says, right, you've probably because it's never a fact. It's never delivered as a fact. We estimate you've got about 2 months to live. In that scenario, have you got a choice? Now, immediately you'll say, well, no, because I've been told, what choice have I got now? You know, they're not even offering me treatment. Or, as in many cases, they've offered me treatment, I've done the treatment, and now we've got to a stage, this is how it all started with me and my uncle. You know, you get to a stage where the treatments have not worked. What do you do then? Have you got a choice then? Well, yes, you fucking have. You have. Because, and this is where, remember what I said, I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do. What I would expect you to want is to always have a choice. Is that fair? Can we agree on that? That in a situation where your back's up against the wall and you're scared and you're feeling like, you know, you've just been told you've got terminal form of cancer, you've just been told you've got 6 months to live, 2 weeks to live, 6 weeks to live, whatever it is, would you not want at least another choice in that moment? Aren't you entitled to that? I'd say you are. In fact, I know you are. And you know that choice, it comes from information. It comes from educating yourself. Over the last 10 years, I've spent so many, God knows how many hours of conversations where I've listened to people initially and I've let them just air out everything that they've just been told and just how much it's rattled them and how they feel they're backed into a corner. And once that gets out of them, because often they keep that in because they don't want to put that on a loved one, because they don't want to scare, you know, make them panic. You know, they keep it all locked inside. But once they start getting it out of their system, they start talking about it and they start hearing what they're saying in their head, which is where all the noise and all the battles go on. It gives them then an opportunity, a bit more space, once that's been cleared out, to then listen. Okay, that's where you're at currently. But did you know about this? Have you looked into this? Because it just so happens someone in your position did this and they changed the outcome, because all of a sudden they was presented with information that they didn't know even existed, which then presented them with a choice. Now, I appreciate some of you might be thinking this is a load of bollocks. I can't help you. I can't change, and I'm not trying to change your mind. But even if there's one person who's watching this and this is resonating, and you know what I'm saying, because I've seen this in every single person I've ever worked with. It's that feeling. Because remember, my practice normally 9 times out of 10 is with people that have gone through the mainstream, that it's not worked. No judgment. It's not they did the right or wrong thing. Remember, I've covered myself here. It's not about any emotion attached. It's just assessment. So they've tried that. It didn't work. Now they're in a position where they're just looking for anything. And initially, it's just hope. There's got to be something. There's got to be something. But then all of a sudden, there's not just something. There's something that they understand. Hold on, really? Is that the case? What, by changing the way I breathe, by changing what I eat, by fasting, by exercising, by looking at natural alternatives that will also support alongside allopathic treatments. Why wasn't I told? Right, this is my point. For whatever reason you wasn't told, that don't matter. The fact that there is information out there that can present you with some empowerment back. Because up until that point, just like this wonderful gentleman I spoke to earlier, that's what's been taken away from you. It's your essence, it's your choice, it's what's made you you, which has always been, well, I'm in charge of my life. Then someone says, oh no, you're not anymore. There's a time limit on it. All of a sudden, that's everything about you has been ripped away. Because what are you if you're not in control of how long in your mind you think you've got? Because you don't think about it until someone goes, right, you've only got 6 months, 2 months. Then it becomes real. It's in that situation where anything that makes you feel like you've got a bit of control back again, it's a game changer. It really is. So my point is of this video, there is never one narrative about your health. I don't care who is telling you what they're telling you. There is always other information, because that finger that's pointing and giving you that information, they don't necessarily know 100% for sure what they're telling you is a fact, which is why, and again, I'm really making this relevant to cancer, which is why there's estimations that are thrown at you, which they'll say are backed up by previous human beings that have had similar situations, and on average, it's been this, it's been that. Do you want to be the general consensus in that situation? Do you want to be an average, or do you want to be you? Because you're not average. You're fucking unique. You are a one-off. You're not average. So please, from a place of love, if you're backed up against the wall, reach out. Join the Gareth Booze support network. It's free. I'm on there all the time. I'm sharing stuff on there all the time. And like I said, it's not me teaching you stuff, not at all. Okay, I just share information that I've observed doing what I've done for the last many, many years. And I've seen people turn things around. Amazing people. Like I said, there's a podcast on there right now that I uploaded the second part to yesterday from a lovely lady, normal woman, that fit as a fiddle, everything going for her life. Again, cancer is not racist, it's not sexist, it's not genderist. It can get anyone at any time. How you choose to react and choices that you make in that situation will define your outcome, because your outcome ultimately is going to be how you feel. And that's something you always have a choice in. So I hope this makes sense. And this is longer than I expected. So sorry, Nick. Love and light to all of yous. Join the Gareth Booze network, the support network, if you're suffering with cancer, if you know someone that is, because there's so much that you can start doing in layman's to make you feel a little bit better about yourself. Sending you all good health.